Right. Can we have a question now from Assembly Member Russell? It's about 15-minute neighbourhoods as part of London's recovery.
Yeah. My London plan sets out a framework for good growth. I want Londoners to be able to access thriving high streets, attractive open spaces and good quality jobs, and to be able to get there safely and easily by sustainable means, including walking and cycling. I want all parts of our city, not just central London, to have successful economies and to see the benefits of growth. This approach is even more important as we recover from the devastating impacts of COVID-19. Londoners are spending more time closer to home. They want their neighbourhoods to be welcoming, healthy and sustainable, not clogged up with traffic and pollution. London's recovery must be an inclusive green recovery that enables all Londoners to walk and cycle around greener neighbourhoods and support their local high streets. I'm taking bold steps to make this a reality. So far, our street space programme has funded over 200 town centre improvements, over 450 school streets and nearly 65 cycling schemes alongside over 175 low traffic neighbourhoods. This is alongside our low emission neighbourhoods, which have invested over £10 million into local areas. We're also providing funding and support for local partnerships to prepare high street recovery plans. Existing good growth funds projects are reorienting their £35 million investment to foster recovery in key locations, and our Greener City Fund has supported over 250 greening projects to improve local neighbourhoods. At its inaugural meeting, the London Recovery Board agreed to deliver a greener, cleaner London to address economic growth and support London's economies whilst tackling the climate emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I particularly appreciate the fact that you're talking about this, the street space measures to help Londoners living in all parts of our city. 15-minute neighbourhoods with everything you need for daily life within a 15-minute walk of home will make Londoners' lives better, but it needs space, especially with the ongoing need for physical distancing. So, first of all, thinking about space for work, London has the highest rate of home working in the country, and people have done really well improvising offices in their bedrooms or at their kitchen tables. But sometimes workers need spaces they can go to when, for instance, the building work outside is too noisy or their internet fails. Will you work with boroughs to provide local, bookable, quiet spaces for working while people are still having to keep working from home?
Yeah, thank you. You raise a really important point. The short answer is yes. Just to give you some good news, we already are working with the boroughs to do this. One of the reasons I was keen for the chair of London Council, Peter John, to co-chair the recovery work was because councils have a huge role to play. We're also using TfL to see if we're able to provide local office space, because you're right, particularly if you live in a shared home, it's difficult for your bedroom to be your office as well. And there are opportunities here as well which we want to take advantage of.
That's really good to hear, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Londoners are not going to be rushing back to those tall lift-dependent glass towers in central London anytime soon, and that ongoing need for distancing is going to mean a lot of us are going to be working from home for a while yet. Now, what about space for the local economy? Having space to expand into the road will help restaurants, pubs, cafes and even community spaces to open up. Now, it's really good to see Northcote Road in Battersea open to people and covered in tables and chairs at weekends, and I understand TfL supported this. Are you planning anything similar for other roads that you control?
Well, firstly, can I just put on my record my thanks to MHCLG. Robert Jenrick on this issue has worked really closely with us. When I spoke to him a number of weeks ago, I explained to him the issues around licensing and planning rules. And to give him credit, he listened. And the flexibility that you talked about has enabled these businesses who desperately need custom to open outdoors, which is just frankly lovely in summer. Both Leonie Cooper and myself know Northcote Road very well. So we're grateful for the name check. Yes, we're working with councils and businesses to have more of these sort of openings. It's really important we use the opportunity of summer to allow these businesses to again flourish and thrive safely. And so any ideas you've got, I'm always happy to listen to. And one of the reasons, again, why it's important to have the chair of London Councils, Peter John, co-chairing with me this work on recovery, is to work with councils who are crucial as part of the partnership.
Thank you. And finally, what about space for growing? Access to green space has been so important to Londoners all through the lockdown. Many Londoners live in flats without access to a garden. will you support communities who want to set up green growing spaces in parking bays, like parklets?
Well, I'm always happy with local communities. I mean, you're aware we're funding local communities in relation to some of their tree planting programs and plant programs. Some of the ugly concrete parking spaces can be greened up quite easily and quite cheaply, which is good for the environment, but also pleasant for those of us who walk past these sites. And I'm more than happy to support where we can community groups doing this great work. By the way, it's a really good way of neighbours getting to know each other who otherwise wouldn't. The benefits are huge. You'll have been to many of these groups where friendships are formed, where people from different socioeconomic backgrounds, different ethnic groups become mates, and they've got a common purpose, and it creates a sense of civic pride as well. And you'll know the basic benefits in relation to photosynthesis with more greening as well. And so I'm more than happy to do this piece of work, and any ideas again you've got, often small sums of money can have a huge impact.
Thank you. Yes, and certainly recognising that it's that community organising, a street getting together to organise a planter or a street event is actually what brings everyone together more than the actual end result. Kind of that community activity. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm out of time.